You know, we live in a world that absolutely rewards being busy. But what if I told you the real secret to success is doing less? Today, we are diving headfirst into Cal Newport's deep work. We're going to break down why this idea isn't just some nice little preference. It's a total game changer. All right, let's get into it. No, really, think about it for a second. I mean, 2 hours straight. No juggling emails, no quick peeks at your phone, no jumping between chat messages. Just pure, unbroken concentration on one hard thing. If you're kind of struggling to remember a time, you are not alone. And that huge gap between feeling busy all the time and actually being productive, that's exactly what we're digging into today. And right there, that's the book's core idea. Its big, powerful thesis. See, in an economy that is basically optimized for distraction, Newport says the person who can actually cultivate the ability to focus, well, that person is going to thrive. And everyone else, they really risk getting left behind. This is not just another productivity tip, you guys. This is a survival strategy for the modern world. So here's how we're going to tackle this. We'll start with the thesis itself. Then we'll get into the war for our attention. After that, we'll look at how to actually architect a life that makes room for this stuff, uncover what the ultimate reward really is, and, most importantly, we'll finish with 3 steps you can take, like, today. Okay, so first up, let's be super clear about what's at stake here. Newport doesn't frame this as some nice-to-have skill. He basically treats it as an emergency, an urgent necessity for anyone who wants to stay relevant in a world that is changing so fast. So what is deep work, really? Well, it's not just about turning off your phone and focusing. It's about pushing your brain to its absolute limit, without distractions, to create something new, something valuable, something that can't be easily copied or automated away. It's the kind of work that actually makes you better at what you do. Now this formula is everything. It completely reframes how we should think about productivity. It's so simple, but so powerful. What it shows is that 4 hours of distracted, low-intensity work will never, ever equal 1 hour of deep, intense focus. You just can't make up for a lack of focus by working longer. That intensity of focus, that's the secret multiplier that most of us are completely ignoring. And this number right here, this is why it's an emergency. When most of us actually sit down and audit our time, like for real, we land somewhere around here. Less than 2 hours a day spent doing the very work that creates the most value. Just think about that massive gap between how we are working and how we could be working. That's where all our potential is just leaking away. So why is that gap so huge? It's so easy to blame ourselves, right? To think, I just don't have enough willpower. But Newport argues, and this is key, the problem isn't personal, it's structural. Our modern work environments are almost perfectly designed to prevent deep work. And to really get this war, you gotta know the 2 sides of the battle. On the left, you have deep work, cognitively demanding, high value. On the right, its enemy, shallow work. Think answering emails, busy work, those endless status meetings. It's easy, it makes you look busy, and it absolutely thrives on distraction. And here's the kicker, our workplaces are optimized for the right side of this slide, not the left. And here are the main culprits. Because it's actually really hard to measure the true output of a knowledge worker, companies fall back on what Newport calls busyness as a proxy for productivity. It's why we reward the person who answers an email in 30 seconds, who is always online and available. We celebrate all this visible activity, even if it's low value, and even if it's actively destroying the focused work that actually moves the needle. And, you know, there's a real neurological cost to living this way. It's a concept called attention residue, and it's critical to understand. Imagine you're writing a complex report, and you just quickly check one email, even for a second. Your brain doesn't make a clean switch. A piece of your attention, a residue, is still stuck on that email, which means you literally have less brain power available for the important report. Multitasking isn't just inefficient. It literally makes you dumber at whatever you're trying to do. Okay, so we've got the problem. The modern world is basically an engine for shallowness. But here's the good news. Newport doesn't just leave us there. So let's shift gears and talk about the solution, how to proactively design or architect your life to protect and prioritize this deep work. He gives us 4 basic models because, hey, one size definitely does not fit all. You've got the monastic approach, which is pretty extreme. Think of the computer scientist Donald Knuth, who literally does not have an email address. Then there's bimodal, for people like Carl Jung, who would go away for months to a secluded tower for deep work, then come back to his busy life. But for most of us, let's be real, The rhythmic philosophy is going to be the most practical. This is all about making deep work a simple, consistent daily habit. Like clockwork, every morning from 8 to 9:30, that is your time, no exceptions. So once you have a philosophy in mind, you put it into practice with these 4 rules. It's about building rituals that make it easier to start, training your focus by actually allowing yourself to be bored, being totally ruthless about the tools you let into your life, and systematically killing off all that shallow work that clogs up your day. Let's just pause on number 2. Embrace boredom. If every single time you're waiting in line, you grab your phone, you are actively training your brain to be incapable of focus. You have to practice being bored. But here's where the book goes from being just a business book to something deeper. Following these rules won't just make you more productive. Newport's most profound point is that the real reward of deep work goes way beyond your job. It fundamentally changes the quality of your life. This quote right here, this is the golden nugget of the entire book. Just let that sink in for a second. Not your job title, not how much money you make, not your circumstances. What you choose to pay attention to, moment by moment, that is your life. And that's the real takeaway. A life lived in the shallows, constantly distracted, fragmented, reacting to things, it's not just less productive, it's a less happy life. Neurologically, a scattered brain is an anxious brain. But those flow states psychologists talk about, those peak human experiences, they almost always happen during periods of intense, single-minded focus. So deep work isn't just a career hack. It's a path to a richer, more meaningful existence. Okay, the theory is great. It's compelling. But the big question is, how do you actually start, right? So in this final section, we are going to give you a super clear, actionable plan to get started the second this is over. Here you go, 3 simple steps. First, you have to get your baseline. Be brutally honest with yourself. How many real deep work hours did you get last week? Second, schedule it. Put 1 hour on your calendar for tomorrow, and you treat it like it is the most important meeting of your entire year. And finally, start training that attention muscle. The next time you're waiting for your coffee, just don't reach for your phone. Stand there. Be bored. It's a workout for your brain. And that really brings us to the end. See, Cal Newport isn't telling you to work harder. He's telling you that your current efforts are being sabotaged by distraction, and that with a few small changes, you could unlock a level of skill and value that you haven't even imagined yet. The world rewards depth. Your own brain rewards depth. So the only real question left is the one right there on your screen. What are you actually capable of? Are you willing to protect your focus long enough to find out?